Okay, I'm going to try to redo this review since I was having trouble in the first review. I was, for some reason, I was blanking on a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna do this again. Okay, so I'm gonna be reviewing Leprechaun in the Hood, which came out in 2000, and it's directed by, hold on a minute, Rob Spira, and it stars Warwick Davis as Leprechaun, of course, Ice-T as Mac Daddy, Anthony Montgomery as Postmaster P, Rashawn Nall as Stray Bullet, and Red Grant as Butch. Okay, so this movie starts out in the 1970s, and we're following Ice-T's character, obviously when he was younger, with one of his friends, and they're down in like this tunnel system trying to find money. They stumble across the statue of the leprechaun, which is a reference to part 3, because it has the medallion around his neck, and like in part 3, when the medallion's around the leprechaun's neck, it not petrifies him, and he can't move. So so they start robbing it because they find the leprechaun's gold, so they steal the gold and this gold flute, which plays a part in the movie later on. And they steal the medallion, the medallion from around the leprechaun's neck, and the leprechaun kills Ice-T's friend, and then Ice-T and the leprechaun get into this battle, which is this really stupid scene. It was kind of funny because it kind of reminded me of not principal, but I guess she's like a secretary or something from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like where she kept pulling stuff out of her hair. Well, because Ice-T has an afro in it, so he's pulling out like a gun and a bat and a knife and all that kind of stuff out of his afro, but he manages to get the medallion back on the leprechaun, and it petrifies the leprechaun, but he still has the gold and the golden flute, which you find out later on when you play this golden flute. It hypnotizes people into listening to the music, and they end up liking it. So it goes sometime into the future, I'm guessing 2000, and there's a group of 3 young men who are trying to become rappers, which their names Postmaster P, Stray Bullet, and Butch. But they're not really having success because, they sing about positivity and stuff, and a lot of people don't like that. They want like the gangster rap and all that. And plus the one guy, Butch, he's kinda like this nerdy guy, and he plays around with chemicals and ends up messing up the equipment by making them explode. So they they're having trouble getting money because they're going around to like pawn shops and stuff. Like there's a scene where they're trying to pawn a guitar to someone it says Jimi Hendrix 1971, and they're like making up lies. It's like at the psychedelic concert and stuff, and the guy at the pawn shop's like, didn't Jimi Hendrix die in 1970? And they go, no, that's not true. He died in 71. And then the guy's like, bullshit, now get the fuck out my store. But yeah, they're just not having success. So they go to the pawn. They go to Mac Daddy. They run across Mac Daddy, and they give him their tape or whatever. And he says that the music's not that bad, but they have to change their lyrics and stuff. And they go, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, you can't be singing about positive stuff. He said the only thing that would sell is, gangster rap and stuff. And then, they get into a little confrontation because Postmaster P doesn't want to do it, but Stray Bullet does. Because, he wants to be famous. And then after this confrontation, Ice-T's character, he's like, well, I'm not gonna sign you no more. I'm just not gonna sign you. Now get out. So they leave. They get mad about it, and then Stray Bullet comes up with the idea of breaking into Mac Daddy's house and stealing his stuff, which they do. And Mac Daddy comes in during the process of the robbery, and when this happens, one of the guys takes the medallion off the leprechaun, and the leprechaun comes alive, and he is let loose once again. And basically, the three guys get a hold of the flute, and they start becoming big rappers and stuff, more successful. And basically, that's the plot of the movie. Now, I remember watching these movies, especially these two, the Hood movies, the most as a kid, and I kind of enjoyed them, like, when I was younger, but watching them now, like, it really hasn't aged well. Um, for the acting I thought was decent for the most part. It's a lot. The guy who plays Postmaster P, I felt that he actually had some kind of development because he's more of like the do-gooder, optimistic type, and throughout the movie he has to become more, you know, gangster and mean-spirited, and I thought that he did a pretty good um projection throughout the movie, I guess. The guy who plays Stray Bullet, I could not stand his acting. He was really annoying. He's playing one of those types that think they're big and bad, but they're really not. And, like, how he talks is really damn annoying. He's like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a line from the movie, but I'm just saying, like, that's how he talks. And it's really annoying, and I could not stand him. Then there's a character named Butch, who is, like I said, the nerdy kind of guy. And there's this running joke with him because he's a virgin, so that's what they always bring the shit up in the movie. And I found it really annoying later on. And I thought he was decent. He's kind of like, the nerdy, kind of reserved guy that ends up, becoming braver near the end of the movie because basically him and Postmaster P are the ones left to fight the Leprechaun. Um, some of the other actors are okay, like the one music shop owner. I thought he was pretty funny. The one that still, the one that told him, he's like, now get the fuck out my store. I forgot his name. Not the black guy, not the Asian one. The Asian guy I could not stand. I thought he was really annoying. And there's like this really weird scene where he's doing this dance and he goes, I want to be a big rapper. Yeah, I'm the best. Yeah, it was really fucking stupid. I don't know why it was in the movie. But, now I did enjoy the lady who played Postmaster P's grandma. She's this blind lady and, she sits there and basically like insults people. But there's a scene where like when the leprechaun comes to her house, because it kind of reminds me of the blind lady from like Deadpool a little bit. But there's a scene where the leprechaun comes to her house. She has to feel people and stuff. And she touches like the leprechaun's hand. She goes, "Ooh, baby, you got arthritis in your hand." She's like, "Your hands are all crooked and messed up." And she goes, "Go wash up now." And she goes, "So you can eat." And like, she's feeding him, but she doesn't know that he's a leprechaun, of course. And she's like, "No, I'm gonna feed you because of your poor little arthritis hands." And she's like sitting there trying to feed him, and it's missing his mouth. And she sticks him an eyeball and pokes out his eyeball. Yeah, I thought she was pretty funny. That was the only scene I really laughed at in the movie. Um, the humor wasn't really that great in this because there's just like this weird scene where they're hiding from Mac Daddy after they rob him, so they don't really trust anyone in the hood because Mac Daddy knows everyone, which I thought was weird that that Mac Daddy is this big successful rapper, which I forgot to mention at the beginning. but he still lives in the hood in Compton, and I didn't understand that. But anyway, so the guys hide out at this homosexual man's house. I'm guessing he's a transvestite. I'm not sure what the correct term is, but he dresses like a woman. But they're hanging out at his place, and they're having like a block party and stuff. Because the guy blows that flute because they're getting bitched at by a neighbor saying that their music sucks and they're being too loud. And he blows in that flute, and then a whole block party comes. It was really weird. But the homosexual guy, the leprechaun comes to his house, and he's like gonna go lay down or something, but the leprechaun comes over and he goes, tries, he wants to have sex with him or whatever. He goes, "Ooh, you're just the right size." I'm like, fuck. So they go into the gay guy and leprechaun go into the room, and the other guys, the main three guys, the rappers, they hear like screaming and moaning from the room, and they think like the guy hurt himself. So they go check on him, and they see it looks like he's having sex with someone, and they're like, "Ooh, whatever." But it's actually the leprechaun killing him, and it was like not a good death scene because all you saw was like a little bit of blood, and that was it. But I did not find that scene funny at all, and it's not because I was offended or anything. I just didn't understand how that was supposed to be funny. But anyways, yeah, a lot of the humor doesn't work in this movie for me. Like when they confront the leprechaun after, he makes Stray Bullet kill himself, makes him shoot himself, and then he takes the golden flute from him. He becomes like a pimp. The leprechaun becomes like a pimp or something. And he has like these zombie women that walk around and hypnotize men and seduces them and stuff. But like the leprechaun's like recruiting women, like kind of like prostituting them. And so cause Stray Bullet's dead. So Postmaster P and Butch come up with this plan that they're going to stick clovers in some joints, and because Leprechaun smokes a bunch of weed in this movie, like in the next one, and they dress up as women, Postmaster P and Butch do, and they go up to the Leprechaun's penthouse and try to get him high with one of the joints, and then the Leprechaun's trying to get Postmaster P to give him a BJ, and then the Leprechaun passes out, and then they escape, and I just don't understand how that was funny. It wasn't funny to me. Like, I mean, it was kind of weird, like when the Leprechaun was trying to make the one guy give him a BJ, but I'm like, oh god. I don't know why it's funny when men dress up in women's clothing, but okay. Um, and then like the movie ends with this rap song by the Leprechaun, and it's not a good song. And I know this series is stupid and stuff, but I don't know, like the humor just didn't really work for me in this movie. And it's like the death scenes, I really don't remember the death scenes at all. Like I remember the gay guy getting killed because that was just a weird scene. Um, I remember the scene where they're hiding out in the church from Mac Daddy, and there's like this weird pastor in there. He's very promiscuous, but he gets them to like sing the song because he said one of their lead singers got arrested, so he makes them sing a song for the church, and I guess it was like Jesus Loves Me or something, but they changed the lyrics because they don't know it or something. So it was like a really stupid rap song. So they're like, Jesus loved me. I don't know. His mother's name is Mary, and she was a hoe. And I'm like, oh my god, like, I don't understand how this is funny. But, like, the death scenes, back to the death scenes, the only scenes I really remember was, like, some dude gets his chest blown out, and then, like, the leprechaun bursts his arm through, like, the promiscuous priest's chest, and I and then someone else got their chest blown out, and I was like, I really just don't remember, like, the death scenes. They don't stick out to me. Um, you know, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's not that this time around it wasn't that good. Like, even the rap music wasn't that interesting. And I like rap music too. It's one of my favorite genres, but the rap music in this was just not. I just didn't feel it at all. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about this movie. I mean, it's, what, the fifth movie in the franchise. So, I mean, if you got this far, like, go ahead and watch it. But if you're not really a fan of this franchise, I would say just skip it. But anyways, that's my review.